We human beings are very, very simple creatures in a lot of ways. For example, we have these human needs that we need to have met to be able to feel happy, to feel at ease, to feel safe. Yet the world we live in is very complex, and it brings up a lot of conflicts between those two. For an example, we have a need to feel free. Yet there is gravity that literally brings us to the ground, that makes us stuck here. We can barely jump 2 feet into the air to only be sucked down straight again. And we have a need to feel excitement, to feel rush. Yet we are in this fragile body that will very, very easily break. And we have a need for certainty. I need to feel certain that when I go to sleep at night, no one will come and try to harm me or stab me in my sleep. Otherwise I won't be able to close an eye. And I need to feel certain that the ground that I'm standing on right here won't break beneath me and let me fall down hundreds of meters. Otherwise I would be crippled down by anxiety. Yet everything in this world is constantly changing. Nothing is permanent. And that is a huge conflict with who we are. You see, because of our need for certainty, that's the only thing that makes us feel safe. If we don't have that, we can't feel it safe, we can't feel at ease. And so we try to latch onto things. We try to hold on to things and make them permanent to feel safe. So whenever we're in a happy situation, whenever things are going good, we get attached to that happiness. We get attached to our jobs. We get attached to our homes. We get attached to our family. Yet we can lose everything in a blink of an eye. And so when we do, we're going crazy. We're getting hit by depression, and we can't get over the fact that we lost something that we had, because it felt so permanent. It felt so permanent when we had that thing. When we're in that relationship where we were head over heels in love with our partner, and we thought that it would last forever until the day where it didn't last any longer. And maybe they broke up with us, maybe they cheated on us, maybe they found a new partner, or maybe we just went our separate ways and things didn't work out in the end. But it makes us feel so depressed and so uncomfortable because we're attached to it, and we feel that it's so permanent that we can't let it go. Or when we're feeling a rush, when we're taking a drug, we're sniffing cocaine, and we get attached to that happiness, we get attached to that rush, that sensation that it brings to our body, and we want it to last forever. And so whenever we're not on that high, we can't accept that sadness of just being normal. So we need to get back on that high, we need to get that rush again, because we want that state to be permanent. We want to permanently stay in that happy state, and we can't accept the ups and downs of life. Or on the flip side of things, when things are going bad, when we're in a bad place, when we're sad, when we're depressed, we think that that sadness and that depression will last forever. We can't logically see how it'll ever stop. And so it feels permanent, and that feeling and thought process that we think it'll last forever brings us misery. It brings us suffering. Because the fact that it's permanent means that we'll have to be in sadness for the rest of our lives. Or we're working a dead-end job and we're miserable. We're working from 9 to 5 or maybe even longer. And we have a shitty boss who treats us badly, and we can't see ourselves ever getting out of it. Maybe we have friends that mocks us, that puts us down, that bully us, and we think that's who we are doomed to be for the rest of our lives. We see it as our identity, and we latch onto that identity and see us as having that identity forever, instead of understanding that who we are is always moving, is always changing, and is fluent. It's not some permanent persona that we have. It's not some permanent identity. It's always changing. But when we get caught up in it, when we get caught up in the permanence of things, whether they are good or bad, it leads us to suffering. When we get caught up in something positive and happy in our lives and we think it'll last forever, we start craving it when it's suddenly not around anymore. And when we get attached to the pain that we're temporarily feeling, we think that pain will stick with us for the rest of our lives, and we can't even imagine how things used to be before, when we were actually happy and when we were in a good place. But just as the weather is always changing and it's not doomed to be gray as it is right now, that's the same thing for us. We are always changing, our lives are always changing. And so we might have a lot of rainy days in a row, it might be gray weathers for weeks in a row. But know that it's not going to last that way. That's not the permanent state of the weather. And it's not the permanent state of us, permanent emotion or anything of that nature. So you might be in a situation where you're literally down on your knees crying, suffering more than you can imagine ever escaping, seeing the future as numb, seeing the future as dark, not being able to see your way out of it, not being able to see how anything could ever fucking change. And I know what it's been like. I know what it's like to be down on my knees, crying my eyes out for weeks at a time. I know what it feels like to feel so numb that you can never imagine anything having any kind of emotion again. Not feeling any kind of joy when you think about the most joyful memories in your life. Not being able to envision any future activity bring any joy, any emotion into your life again. I know how dark that feels, but know that it only feels dark because that's the current emotional state that you're in. And once your emotional state is changing, which it's bound to do as a law by the universe, then the future and the way you're perceiving it will start changing again. No matter how bad it is, it's going to change and it's going to be okay. Know that it's darkest before dawn, and you'll get over it. Thank you for watching the video. I hope that you liked it. If you do, please do subscribe and leave a like, leave a comment, but mainly subscribe. And thank you for watching. Stay true to you.